Welcome to Cat the Minion YouTube channel. My name is Theresa, but you can call me Cat. I'm doing a special energy report. We're hitting a lot of Gemini energy right now. The nodes have moved. There's, I think if I'm to understand correctly, Gemini is now in the North Node position, and we just moved into the Gemini time of year. There's a new moon in Gemini, and what was the other thing? I think there was something else. Oh, this is what happens when I don't get any sleep. I was on a roll too. Maybe Mercury is gonna be doing something in Gemini. Either way, there's a lot going on. Now, Gemini is it's weird, okay. Gemini is the twins. Greek mythology, Castor and Pollux. Or that might be, yeah. Castor and Pollux. It's like the male and the female. It's the two opposite things sort of lashed together in a rough-hewn manner. Sorry about the lawn mowing out there. It's apparently whenever I decide to do a reading is when the neighbors need to do their lawn. I'll get going in a second. My brain is at sludge at this point. I've been awake for a very long time. Mercury? No, Gemini. Yeah, Mercury. Okay. Ruled by the planet Mercury, having to do with communication. Now, Venus is in retrograde, and I don't know if she's in Gemini or not. But the fact is that in the tarot deck, the Lover's card is ruled by Gemini. It's also the choice, which is because there's two things there. It's the ultimate decision. It's not a black or white thing, really, essentially, but it's you're either leaning towards one side or the other. With Venus doing weird shit, I feel like there's more of a... Oh, okay, that's why it's also Gemini energy, because Mercury's going to go retrograde soon, which rules Gemini anyway, and is the planet of communication. But I do feel like the love aspect of the Lover's card, more than healing or a choice, is going to be at play during the next month, especially because of that Venus activity, the strong Venus activity. So what I've done is I've gone through my decks and I pulled out all of the Lover's cards, and we're gonna see what energies are popping out right now. Now, the Dreams of Gaia Tarot doesn't have the same card in their deck. So I've pulled out 3 cards that I feel are representative of it. Now, the choice 0 is where the Fool would normally be, but as you can see here, we have 3 doors, right? And usually I call the triptych door the union of opposites. There's like cold and hot, male and female, left and right, yes and no. And then in the middle is some kind of overall concept of what it is, right? Hot and cold. We go through the middle, we're experiencing temperature. Light and dark, we go through the middle, we're experiencing twilight or morning, or the sunrise, the sunset. And light and dark there, even on the tree. And it leads to growth. It's the same thing as what's going on in the Lover's card. There's the masculine, the feminine, and then the angel is essentially the union of two opposites. And then I brought out love because it says lovers. Here it's number 12. And there's that unified angel with a butterfly on each side, perhaps the twins there. And also this union card. Again, there's sort of an angelic figure, and then we have an animal here and an animal here. Possibly the male and the female, and then again with these dragons up here in the top. Perhaps being the masculine and the feminine. So those three cards are somewhat representative, at least in the Dreams of Gaia for me, of what the lovers could be. And again, notice how I've got three cards here. Choice, love, and then the union of opposites, perhaps. That's funny. Okay, so let's get into the normal lovers cards here. I want to pull up, well, here's your basic lovers card, right? Masculine, feminine, and then the angel. Oh my effing god, why? I think that's a motorcycle. I'm really noticing the mountain and the clouds right now, and I might get back to that. But I wanted to get into the lovers from the Radley Valentine Angel deck here. Help, help, I'm being repressed. You saw it, didn't you? Shut the fuck up. Okay. So they have the lovers. Archangel Raphael. And here it says, intimate relationships, carefully weigh your decisions in good health. So, I mean, choice can also be decision. It can be, like, critical thought process. It's like, these or these. This or the other or that. And again, healing. Because, I mean, one aspect of unity is wholeness, right? Two broken halves joined back together. That kind of idea of, you know, you can't hold up a lintel with one side, and by having both things, then you have a repair. So I do sense perhaps repairing communications. Things have been cloudy, you've gone over some hurdles. Alright, so here is the Thoth Deck one. This almost looks like a puppeteer. It's like the universe is playing games with you at some point. And they have Cupid's arrow here, which is interesting. And I feel like this is actually related to that Jeff Buckley channeling that I did. That's this idea of what is it? Oh, and there's the cosmic egg down here, which I almost pulled out from over here, but decided not to. This is a wolf and an eagle, and this one has a lion and an eagle. And the little kids. And now the adults. And up here. So it's like, oh, I was going to say, I feel like this card indicates the other reading I did, and the important thing was it's like you have to take something with you when you die. Like, you have to learn something, and you have to be able to communicate something important to the world around you, but people might not always be willing to hear you. And that Mercury energy having to do with communication, it's like you either choose or choose not to interact with other people, or you choose or choose not to be able to love on some event. You choose or choose not to heal yourself. And like, people have to be receptive in some way to hear anything that you want to say. And likewise, if you want to learn anything, you have to be receptive too. And that way it's a two-way street there with the duality. I'm not going to do that one just yet. Here we go. Geese. Das wild geese. Canada geese. Canuckian geese flying through the prismatic rainbow here. Flying in formation. Now, when I see this, I do think of Evita, the song "High Flying Adored," right? So it's literally like mate for life kind of thing, and it's also this, you know, you're always attached to somebody. Like it has an effect on you for the rest of your life, and it can be, it could be true love, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. But I think with this card, it's more of understanding that the other half of that duality is a part of you at some extent. And so this is the Cairo Marchetti Legacy deck. This was the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit. So this one, there's this Kundalini snake here. And the angel is sort of part of these characters. And there's like an arrow coming down, kind of like this Cupid's arrow here. And then also that snake down here. It's only by using both halves of your brain that you're able to have this full energy activation and clear communication within yourself and the world around you. If you only ever have one perspective, you're going to be missing half of whatever, and then also whatever the sum being greater than the parts, giving you this access to greater energy. So it's not necessarily your life is meaningless unless you're with somebody. It's also has to do with balancing your own energies and using your logical side and your creative side. You know, each half brings something to the table. It's not always equal, it's complementary. Okay. So this is from the Syrian Starseed Tarot. It's like up in a puff of smoke here. Alright, so this is like some sexy times going on here. But it's also somewhat representative of the Kundalini, that the snake rising from the cosmic egg. And I do see this like explosion of energy, like atomic. And it could, again, it can be that thing of fire in the uniting, that ultimate pairing, that like Ermagerd kind of thing. But it's sort of a more literal approach to the lovers. But you can also see here from this that it has a lot to do with energy and not necessarily just the physical body. Right? Because the sun is completely energy. It's plasma. And it's almost to that point of like it's in the blood, right? It's in the DNA. It's coded in the activation of light within you. That you know that there's two halves to something. And I think people often say that Gemini can be fickle. I have experience with Gemini personality, and there's some other stuff going on, but it's like it's like having an evil twin and then having three other, like, both you and your evil twin have another evil twin. You know, it's like quickly goes from having everybody has a dark and a light to a Gemini person has like quadrants, and it can be frustrating to have a conversation with somebody who interrupts themselves to bring you an update on the update of the news report of the breaking news. So in that sense, it's like making a choice of what is the most important thing to express at any given moment, when you have to be discerning at some point as well. All right, so this is the Aquarian Tarot. Now, I do associate Aquarius with Mercury. I don't know why it keeps happening to me. I know it's Uranus, but it's also a fellow air sign in the Aquarian Tarot. I'm just making a point of that because it happens to me all the time, and I don't know why I do that. So this is like deeper into that garden, right? Where's the... This one, yeah. Right here we've got this tree with the snake on it, and here the masculine has lit his tree on fire with his sun energy. And in this one we have a tree with an apple on it. But here we're deeper in the garden. We have some rods growing that are going to be cut down later for the rod suit. This is sort of the antithesis to this, right? We're butt-ass naked up in here. But here it's more of this like reverent interaction. And it's not to say that a sexual act isn't a reverent action or a reverent communication, because it can be, if you're willing to take it there. And this, to me, represents that sort of next level where you're interacting on the physical. And it almost is sort of very sensual and suggestive. But it's this idea of... I'm going to restart another segment. There's this idea that what the love is a lot deeper than the surface. Right? Like, we have all these regal robes. We've moved on from, you know, like the love has overflowed enough so that the clothes have materialized out of this fog. And it's not to say like, oh, we're covering ourselves, but it's also that duality of being naked with someone, being open to them, being honest, and the idea of being clothed. It's not the act of being separated by being clothed or hidden by being clothed, because the communication is still honest, but it's saying like we don't have to literally be naked to be open with each other. Because we've accumulated the depth. And I think that's kind of like if like with actual twins, there's this idea of like a telepathy, of a silent communication, of a deep understanding and knowing. Now, whether it's with your lover or if it's literally twins, twin flame, that would also stand. So I think the communication is going to end up being multi-leveled, multi-energy, hitting on the different chakra levels, right? You have like the base, the root. You have the health that it needs to grow, the sort of like love and attention and care, but then also there's this idea of having it like so deep and like gnarled, like a thick tree. Like this is sort of giving me that redwood essence. It's like your souls know each other so deeply that you have the same root, even if it's different branches or different trunk or something like that. And I think a lot of people that are in like long-term satisfying union relationship, even if it's been difficult in the past, it's like they know this like internal knowing that you come from the same root. You were grown out of the same egg, or you were split from the same soul, or it's like you're my kind of people, that kind of sense. Now, in my music deck that I made for myself, I have the Beatles song In My Life. And it's like there are all these friends and lovers, and there's no one that compares with you. These memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. So I swear I never lose affection for people and things that come before. And then there's some other stuff, and then it's in my life, I love you more. So in that way, it's like, in a general sense, it's like you see things in your life as happening, as good or bad, people that you interact with, and whether it's ups or downs, and whether they mean the most to you in one moment and not as much to you the next, it's something that stays with you and becomes a part of you. And the fact that if you're a twin with someone, either physically, like your twin brother, your twin sister, or metaphorically, your soulmate, your twin flame, your romantic partner, there's this idea that they become a part of you in your memory. But then there's also this idea that, like, I literally don't, like, I hold other things dear, but when I know you, everything else pales in comparison. And that's the idea of, like, knowing that you belong in the same set, that you have the same soul. Okay, so I think that gives a fairly good range of what can go on with the Lover's card. Now, maybe not so much for decisions, but I like I said, because of that Venus energy at play, I think a lot of this does have to do with relationships, but I do think that some people will have to make choices on whether they're coming or going. You know, like the red pill or the blue pill kind of stuff. Like, are you gonna strap in on the magic bus, or you're like not traveling today? But I think ultimately what the Gemini energy is doing is kind of pushing a decision. And I think there's going to be a lot of memories coming up, a lot of repeater lessons for people that haven't had them yet. And you'll have to probably reestablish communication with some people, either for clearing things up or like closure. Or to sort of unify the opposites, whether that's a completion or not. I mean, there is this energy of 6 here. right? There's something trying to be balanced. Balancing, winning, reminiscing. What was the other one? Reminiscing, winning, charity. Oh yeah, okay. And then moving away from stuff that's no longer useful. We're sort of moving into a new phase. And then the next card after this is the Chariot. So this is sort of a little bit like the calm before the storm. You know, like standing in the eye of the hurricane, knowing that something else is coming and trying to, you know, sniff out which way the wind is blowing. Alright, so that was a little bit of an energy report on the Lovers / Gemini energy. If you want to get a reading, the complete list of readings, contact points for merch, arts, prints, little chapbook packs of mystery cards and art bits and poetry. All that is in the description box of my infomercial video, which is linked below this one. Or just email me, thecatcamebackatcamp@gmail.com. I'll get you that list of readings. Check out all my playlists. Card of the day, pick a pile, weekend, astrology, bi-weekly, and all that. There's more stuff in there. Go to my channeled entities playlists. Check out that Jeff Buckley one I just did, because that was, I think that might be relevant to this. If you want to donate, that's paypal.me/cattheminion. I have Cash App and Venmo. And hit that like button and subscribe and share it if you think somebody might need to hear some of that. And we'll see you on the next one. Fred says bye.